Miss Jessie's products have won awards from Allure, Essence, Red Book for being the best in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you MikoBranch, Queens native, co-founder, creative director, co-CEO of Miss Jessie Products. Today we celebrate her for transferring the hair care industry, especially for naturally curly hair. MikoBranch.
Wow, you guys are good looking. Today is a special day because I get a chance to kick off Women's History Month with you all, and I see mostly women when I look out in this audience. You know, my sister, well, first of all, my name is MikoBranch, as you said, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Miss Jessie's. And it's the hair care company that I started together with my sister Titi Branch. We're from Queens. Queens played a very unique role in the development of Titi Branch and myself, particularly as women, but also as entrepreneurs. Titi and I did not go to business school, but we had wonderful mentors, and we were brought up and we were raised in Queens, New York. It was actually from Queens that we were exposed and we were able to see other entrepreneurs at a very young age. Russell Simmons, hip-hop. In the 70s, my sister and I were bused to another school in Queens, and we heard Rapper's Delight, we heard Salt and Pepper, we heard all those things, and we, as young kids, got a chance to see an art form turn into commerce. By the time it was time for Titi and I to start our own business, it wasn't unusual or uncommon for someone from Queens to be their own boss. Titi and I, although we didn't have formal training and although we didn't go to business school, we had a very strong role model right in our family. And that role model was our father, Jimmy Branch. We grew up in Jamaica, Queens, also known as South Ozone Park, Queens. We use it interchangeably. We did it when we were growing up. And we lived on 127th Street and 111th Avenue. Linden Boulevard was on the other side. Y'all know where I live? We were one of the only kids, I think there might have been two others, maybe three, but we had a dad in our family. Our dad came out of the civil rights era, so it was very important to be free in your mind and to be in a position of choice. My dad was somewhat of a ladies' man, so he knew all the obstacles that were out here for women. And he was blessed with two girls. So what he tried to do is arm us with all of this wisdom, and he thought that there was nothing better than for us to be independent, be in control of our own destinies, and be our own bosses. So at a very early age, he put us to work. Titi and I were no strangers to hard work. My dad did everything from paint homes to drive cabs. He even sold real estate, and guess who had to prep those houses to bring them to market? It was Titi and I. Welfare was really not an option. All of the kids on our block got a chance to enjoy free lunch. And that free lunch was great. They even served pancakes sometimes. And we used to ask our dad, Dad, why can't we eat pancakes? Why can't we go up the street and get free breakfast too? And he thought that having a welfare mentality was not going to be an option for us. If there's anything that you want, you have to do it for yourself, and you have to work hard. Queens was a wonderful place, so we had this father who put us to work. We had this father who wanted us to be free in our minds. We had entrepreneurs all around us. So by the time we were in our early 20s, Titi and I partnered up. I happened to be really good at hair. I always loved everything beautiful, anything pink, anything pretty. So everyone on our block on 127th Street got their first box braids from me. If you you wanted your first perm or your first relaxer, I was the go-to girl. I was always good at it. The only thing was, in my house, my dad didn't really promote being pretty, and he didn't put a value on beauty in that way. He thought that for girls, if you rely on your beauty, that was somehow a bad word. So all my life growing up, I always kept that hidden. Luckily, I had the support of my sister, Titi Branch, so when we finally decided to partner up and go into business together, we did what I did best, which was hair. We didn't have money, we had no angel investors, we had no loans, we had no special contacts, but what we did have was our God-given talent. I was good at hair, Titi was a great communicator, and she was also a great organizer. So what she did was she picked up the phone and called every single person in New York City and asked them, did they need a hairstylist? Finally, Ashley Stewart said, I do. I worked 1 week and I made $8,000. With that $8,000, Titi thought it was time that I took my at-home salon, because I was already doing hair in our house, and by that time we'd moved to Brooklyn. We partnered up and we got a 2-chair salon in the Boerum Hill section of Brooklyn, and in the first month we made a profit. Within the first year, we were successful in our business. Going into year 2, my sister pulled up and told me, Miko, I have something to tell you. I said, what? She said, we have a tax bill and it's pretty big. Now, just to give you a background in my relationship with taxes, I'd always receive money back. My first experience where I would have to pay the tax person something came in the form of $17,000. I'd never paid a tax bill before. We'd never paid a tax bill like that before. So I asked my big sister, Titi, do we always have to pay a bill this big? And the reason why I asked my sister is we had a big sister, little sister dynamic. Titi was my big sister, and she also happened to be extremely smart. So there was no question that she didn't know, and she said, if we keep making money, that bill is going to be a larger bill. So I said, well, don't they have this thing where if you buy some property, you can write it off, like it's called an expense? She said, yeah. So I said, okay, well, let's buy a house. Luckily, in the 90s, Titi and I saved a lot of our money. So how did 2 girls who had no cash, who had no loans, how do you start a business from scratch? What we did was we sacrificed. We had this God-given talent, we had partnership, and we put a value on our service. We felt that our service was good service, so we raised the price on it. All the money that was coming in, we saved it, and we sacrificed in the 90s. The 90s was a very exciting time in New York City. We call it the puffy era. All of my friends were at a puffy party at one way or the other. But what Titi and I did is we didn't go to that party. We didn't spend money on red bottoms. We didn't spend money on that bag. We stayed home. We amassed our money by saving. That was a very unique time because right before we refuged to that brownstone, I learned that I was pregnant. And in my pregnancy, I had just broken up with my son's dad. That was a rough winter. We were fighting with the landlord, and I decided I had a connection with this kid in my stomach. I was very adamant that I wanted him to be here with me, so he was staying. We lost that war with our landlord, and as I mentioned before, we got kicked out. We refuged to our brownstone. And the reason why I'm standing here today is I had the training of being in Queens. I had exposure to entrepreneurs. I had a wonderful father. But it was actually at bath time that crystallized all of my experiences, all the teachers' experiences prior. It was bath time, and at the time I loved wearing my hair straight. But I could no longer keep it or maintain it because my son splashed all around at bath time. If you wanted to get your hair done by me, you had to come to my house. And my house at the time was in Bedford-Stuyvesant. Bedford-Stuyvesant in 1999 was known as the Hood. So we'd lost half of our clientele. Bath time on the fourth floor, it made my hair, I could no longer wear it in its straight form, so my hair would shrink up and half of it was straight, half of it was kinky, some of it was curly, and I had to go downstairs on the second floor to do whatever clients we had left. That's where they had to see me, and that's what I looked like. Ironically, it started a conversation. And my customers who look like you and you, before you look like that, right? Because at the time, I didn't see anyone with natural hair all that much. They wanted to know, how did you get your hair like that? It didn't take long because Titi and I were suffering. We had a mortgage to pay. We didn't have that much money coming in. I knew that we had an opportunity here. I was always good at hair. I got expert at curls, kinks, and waves. At the time, there were no Miss Jessie's in Target, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS. So what we did was we took it to our kitchen table. And we took it to our kitchen table because we learned from our grandmother, MikoBranch, that you could do it yourself. You can mix whatever you want from scratch at your kitchen table. She did it growing up, and that's what we needed to do. Titi and I took to our kitchen table and mixed a little bit of this with a little bit of that, and finally, it was Titi Branch who woke me up 3 o'clock in the morning because I was the one with the baby, so I was tired at night. And she showed me what we would all know to be as curly pudding. We had no idea that curly pudding was going to bring us financial success. It was going to make us laugh. It was going to make us somewhat famous. It was going to make us cry. We had no idea what was going to come with this curly pudding. But all we knew was the orders were coming in quicker than we could make this stuff. Once our back started hurting, we knew it was time to hire some people. At one point, we moved our business to our brownstone. First, we started off with the KitchenAid mixers. We had 6 of them. Then we moved to pizza dough mixers. Those are called Hobart mixers. Then when we outgrew that, we had to get a warehouse. By that time, people knew that these 2 girls in Brooklyn can turn your kinks to curls, and they can do it naturally with no chemical. At the time when Titi and I created this product, we understood that we were giving women solutions for their hair, but we had no idea that we were not only going to help to give them solutions for their hair, but we were also going to help to restore their esteem. Many women of color at the time had no idea they had curly hair. They had no idea that their kinks were really tightly coiled curls. It was a discovery that I made at bath time with my son. And you have to understand, Titi and I were hungry, we were starving, and we wanted to keep this secret to ourselves because no one knew this, I thought. But it was such a big reveal that Titi and I did the unthinkable and told our customers how to do their hair. You have to understand, as stylists and as salon owners, am I doing okay on time? Okay. We decided to price our product at $28 per jar. I don't think any black woman was paying that much for a product for their hair at the time, particularly natural hair. And natural hair was a bit of an uphill battle because Titi and I were marketing to women who didn't even know they had curls. We kept forward with it, we kept at it, and each one taught one. Thank God for the internet. With the internet, we were able to post before and after pictures. With those before and after pictures, women got a chance to see what the possibilities were, how their hair could possibly look. That started growing and our phone was ringing. We couldn't make this product fast enough, and all of a sudden people started calling us. One day we'd gotten a call from a third party and they said that Target wanted Miss Jessie's on their shelves. Titi and I didn't believe it was Target because there was no Target.com at the end of that name. So we thought that it was just a bogus caller. They kept calling and they kept calling, and finally my sister asked them, "Where is this meeting?" And they said, "Well, the meeting's going to be held in Minneapolis." My sister, being the smart sister that she was, my sister knew that Target's headquarters was in Minneapolis. Titi's saying, I think this is that. They said, well, the meeting is tomorrow, so you'd have to be here. And Titi said, we'll be right there. We bought the most expensive plane ticket to Minneapolis because it was the day before. And Titi and I thought that we had to sell our product and tell them how great it was. When we got to that meeting, it was a conference room. There was around 10 people in the room, all white people. And there was one woman that stood out to me, and she had blonde hair. And she also had a big, huge rock on her finger. And I was looking at that rock, and Titi was the talker. Titi was the talker of the two of us. The woman with the rock cut Titi off, and she said, I know exactly who you are. And she says, I'll order everything. So with the handshake, Titi and I became multimillionaires in that moment. More money, more profit. Somehow we thought that we're just going to be cashing checks all day. What we didn't realize is that when we formed partnership with these retailers, it wasn't clear to us that we had no idea how to deal with our new partners. We were expert at making curly pudding. We were great hairstylists, but we didn't know anything about dealing with Target, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and we signed every single contract without a lawyer. All we knew was that our family was going to be proud, our friends were going to be proud. When my son got older, he would know what was going on, and we were just so enamored with the opportunity, I don't think we were thinking. So we had to learn the hard way, and we did. Step by step, blow by blow, we learned that, okay, we gotta hire an attorney. We gotta hire help here. We have to learn about this business. And slowly but surely we did. But there's so many opportunities for us because talent doesn't just come to Titi and MikoBranch. There's so many of us that are good at something. There's so many of us that are going to be propositioned with an opportunity. So once you get the opportunity, like we did, it didn't just stop there. That's probably where the hard work begins. Titi and I are still we're 100% owned by ourselves, and I'm so proud of that. I know I'm speaking before primarily women and some budding entrepreneurs, and I can definitely tell you it's exhilarating and it's gratifying to be your own boss. I mean, at one point or another, if you have to work for someone, it's wonderful because you get a chance to get training on someone else's job. Some of us have to pay for business school. Some of us learn lessons that are so rough, and as a result, we're not able to hold on to our businesses. I have to tell you, as an entrepreneur, one thing that we need to do is we need to try, if we can, to remove fear. And if problems or failures or if those kinds of things happen, I definitely encourage you to forgive yourself. They're going to come. Particularly as women, we take everything so hard. We're very sensitive. We don't want to fail. We get embarrassed. We don't want anyone to see what we did wrong. I'll speak for myself. But I can honestly tell you, it's part of the job training. It's going to happen. And anyone, anyone who wants to try their hand at being an entrepreneur, I think it's a wonderful experience. But I can also tell you that being an entrepreneur is not for everyone. There's a joy in being able to go to work at 5 o'clock. You're able to end your day and get on to the next thing. There's rewards with that too. So it's really about options. I think as an entrepreneur, everyone should try it. You might love it. And if you hate it, then guess what? There's something else for you. But I can definitely say for me, and it's a personality thing, very early on I understood that I just don't like people telling me what to do. So there's a place for people like me. It's called Be Your Own Boss. But I can also share with you that being your own boss, it's not just millionaire stories all day. It's a lot of crying, it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of sacrifice. So you got to take the bitter with the sweet. And so far, so good. Bitter and sweet come in many different forms. Although I had the greatest big sister, the greatest partner, the greatest co-parent in my sister T.D. Branch, and I can name so many great things that this woman was and still is to me, my sister is no longer here with me today. I stand before you representing myself, my company, but also I'm representing my sister T.D. Branch. My sister suffered from mental illness and depression, and we lost T.D. on December 4th of 2014. Being an entrepreneur, I think that journey prepared me in an unconventional way on how to deal with the passing of my sister. I think some of those failures, I think that time that she and I put in together really prepared me for something that I can't explain to you the pain. Every time I talk about it, I feel heat from tears or it's rough. I'm thankful, I'm thankful that I was able to spend that time with Titi. I'm thankful that we were able to build something together. So together, Titi, my big sister, she raised me. We were latchkey kids together. And we spent a lot of time in between us as latchkey kids. Titi often held the key. She groomed me as a young woman. She schooled me in business. She co-parented with me. She did so many things. And our business, so proudly, we're still 100% owned. And when I say we, Titi is still here with me today. And I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't leave here just giving you a little bit more understanding of who Titi was. I want to share her essence with you. So I'm working on our second book now, and I want to share an excerpt from our second book, and this will give you an understanding of who Titi was. My guardian angel. Titi had always been my fiercest protector. We had each other's back, and if you mess with one of us, you mess with both of us. See, it had to be that way. We were latchkey kids who spent hours alone together. So the fact that we adored one another was a blessing. Of course, we had our own friends at one time or the other, whether we were living on 127th Street or anywhere. Titi's was a girl named Iris, and mine was Boda. Iris and Boda moved to our block from Brooklyn, and we all played together. Titi and Iris played Skelly in the street with bottle caps filled with gum, which they shot across the Skelly board. Y'all remember Skelly? Yes. Boda and I did more girly things like style each other's hair. Was Skelly just a New York thing? Okay. One time at PS 121, a big husky girl named Janine decided she didn't like Titi and Iris, and she went out of her way to bully them in the halls. She was a pretty brown-skinned girl with light brown eyes, but she was scary all the same. One day, Janine spotted all of us playing in an open lot on the corner of 111th Avenue, and she decided to come over and mess with us. She started with my friend Boda, who was my age, and told her, "I'm gonna kick your ass." Titi, Iris, and I were paralyzed with fear. I closed my eyes and hoped for a miracle, which came in the form of a punch right to the side of my face. See, Titi took it upon herself to defend all of us, and it was one of those punches that connected dead smack in the middle of our aggressor's face. The problem was I was standing right next to Janine and caught a slice of Titi's blow. finally opened my eyes, realizing my sister was about to get destroyed by our tormentor, and I screamed, "Titi, no!" Wearing tight Jordache jeans and the suede blue and white Puma sneakers from VIM on Jamaica Avenue that our father bought her. Titi wasn't exactly dressed for a fight. I couldn't imagine how she was going to be able to move and defend herself in those skin-tight pants. And it got ugly real fast. In fact, I had never seen a fight like this before. You see, in our neighborhood, two girls fighting usually consists of hair grabbing, scratching, arms moving fast in a swim-like motion. Yes. But Titi went head up with that girl. And she had the good fighter's form she learned from the Japanese karate lessons our mother insisted we take. For a minute, it even looked like Janine started ducking. Then Titi lifted up her leg and landed a roundhouse kick to the side of Janine's body. Iris, Boda, and I all watched this in frozen horror. By then, tears were coming down our faces, and we were certain this fight would turn in Janine's favor any second. But it never did. Titi won that fight for Boda. And it was perfect training for the many giants we would have to face in the future. After that, Janine never bothered any one of us again. She even called our house every day just to tell Titi she wanted to be her friend. This is just one of the many reasons why I looked up to Titi as my big sister. She protected me, she defended me, she co-parented with me, and she schooled me. Titi was my best friend, and I will always love her. But over the years, I came to understand that Titi also needed a protector. I had always viewed her as a strong one, my beautiful guardian angel. But her complex battle with mental illness and depression likely played havoc with her ability to manage the daily operations of life. She hid it so well that as a family we didn't anticipate the worst. Her depression wasn't fully recognized or understood by us. We didn't own what was happening to Titi or recognize just how much her situation was owning her. When you fail to confront the truth head on, it could literally kill you. So I know I came here to talk to you about business and about the wonderful position we're in as women. And because of my unique experience with Titi building a successful business, I would be remiss if I didn't share all that went into my experience in being an entrepreneur. Mental illness and depression is real. It can affect any entrepreneur, it can affect any mother, it could affect anybody. And while we're trying to strive for better and just do better, I think as a people and as family members, including mine, I feel like if we ever see someone that we love that's not feeling well, I think it's important that we take time out to see what's wrong. I know we're not doctors, we're not physicians, but I definitely know love is the key. So I know my sister did not die in vain. We're having a conversation in the name of Titi, and I believe that Titi not only did a wonderful thing by helping women with their hair and helping women to build their esteem, but I think Titi's greatness lives on in so many ways above and beyond. I think Titi's going to save some lives too. Anyway, thank you so much for having me. talking about Titi, I got off topic a little bit. Titi and I decided to write a book together. One of the many things that I'm very proud of. We wrote a book called Miss Jessie's, Creating a Successful Business from Scratch Naturally. This is the story of how Titi and I built our business together with love, with innovation, with creativity, and we believe that if you learn our story, we can inspire others. The large message in this book is if we can do it, you can do it too. I'm here to sign books. If any of you want to join me, I'm off in this corner right there. So anyway, thank you so much for having me. I'm available for questions and answers. Well, while you guys are thinking about it, I wanted to thank Assistant Commissioner Karen Armstrong. Karen, thank you so much for having me. And also Deputy Commissioner Sharon Goodwin. Thank you so much for having me. Candace, thank you so much for having me. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. Hi. Oh, you're fresh out of cosmetology. I think that you should do everything that you can to learn your craft and get good at it. I encourage you to work with whoever. If you have any hairstylist superstars or if there's any salons that you love, I encourage you to work there, learn all that you can, get all your knowledge, so when you decide to get your own chair, your own salon, you're expert at what you do. So take this time, particularly because you're young, to learn all that you can.